Okay, so we are on page 146, chapter 5, Shar Beis in Derech HaShem. Okay, so let's just dive right into it. So this chapter is called Be'ofen HaHashgacha. This chapter is called the mechanics of providence. So the mechanics of Hashgacha. The Oifen. The Oifen means like the style. I don't know, the style or the I don't know. I think the mechanics of Hashgacha. How it works. Meaning, so let's see, he's going to explain. Hine, ad heina, that until now, be'arnu, we explained mishpitei hashgacha. We explained the principles of providence. Meaning, based on what rules providence works. Meaning, why do we decide this guy gets this and this guy gets that, right? These are the rules of providence, the logic of providence. Okay? Now we will speak about what is regarding the mechanics of providence, meaning how it works. How does it happen? Okay? I mean, he's not going to talk about how it happens, really. He's going to talk about certain ideas, concepts that relate to the mechanics of Hashgacha. And that's basically can be divided into two main, roots. And that is, one is regarding Hashem's hashkafa, Hashem's observation of the situation, right? Hashkafa, like the Hebrew mishkafayim, are glasses, right? The hashkafa means to look, right? So the first part is how does Hashem assess the situation, right? That's hashkafa. Ba'asheni bahashpa'ata. And the second one is Hashem's influence over the situation, right? So basically the way I look at it is an input and the output. Right? Meaning Hashem is looking over the activities of man, right? Looking over the world. So first he needs to look over the world and say, here, this is what's going on. I'm going to analyze it. And then I'm going to look back at the principle of my Hashgacha, see, okay, how do I react in this situation? Do I look at the intermediate needs, the instant needs, schus office, not schus office? I do the whole cheshbon, the whole calculation there, and then I hashpa'ah, and then based on what I decided, I now output. I do, I cause an effect of some kind on the person, people, communities, cities, towns, whatever, countries, right? So that's hashkafa and hashpa'ah. So hashkafa again is observation, hashpa'ah is influence, but basically input, right, and output. Right, so let's see. Base. So base. That's second paragraph. B'ashkafasa yizbarach shmoy, regarding his observation of the situation. Kvar yadana shehu yizbarach shmoy yodei hakol. We already know that Hashem knows everything. Right, He's a knower of everything. Right, that's part of being infinite. Is that you got to know everything. There's no limitation to your knowledge, and it's instant, and it's part of Hashem's essence, as I said before. Right, so Hashem knows everything. And there is absolutely no lacking in His knowledge at all. Not in the future, not in the present, nor in the past. Right? So Hashem is fully aware of everything that has happened, happening, and will happen. Anything that happened, and will happen, it's already visible to him me'olam, from the very first moment of existence. And nothing is hidden from him. And anything that's happening right now, and anything that's happening right now is revealed to him as well, and it's known to him. Right? And it's known to him in every particle, in every aspect, and there's nothing hidden from him. Right, so therefore he's saying Amnam. So what are we saying hashkafasa? What do we mean when we say his observation? He knows everything. What are we talking about? His observation. Amnam nikra shehum. So what do we call Amnam nikra shehum mashkif al advarim? However, we refer to it as him observing the situation. Mashehu dan aisam. We refer to that's the process of his assessing the situation. It's not his knowing of the situation. He knows the situation, but when we call the idea of hashkafa is what we refer to the process of assessment. Not the process of knowledge, but the process of assessment. Okay? So, for example, that we're going to use, I'm going to use this example, meaning that somebody can get into a car accident, right? So, there's going to be, at some point later, there's going to be a court case. And the court case will decide what to do in this situation, right? Based on whatever the laws of the country are, or the city, the country, whatever, right? The laws. So again, so the mishpatei hashgacha, the laws of hashgacha, or the laws of the country, is what we discussed in the other chapters before, right? But right now, there's a police person, and that police person is going to write a police report, right? So the police report is his assessment of what took place during this thing, right? It's not what he knows happened. He might know even more things, right? He knows, but when we're talking about assessing the situation, that's the police report. So when we're talking about hashkafa v'kadosh baruch Hu, we're referring to what Hashem does in the process of assessing a certain situation. Good? Right? Again, obviously we can get deeper into this, and we can ask ourselves, one second, what does it mean that Hashem knows? We already discussed in the first chapter that Hashem's knowledge is really included as part of his essence. And so his hashkafa, which is part of his knowledge, is part of his essence. So it's really all one thing. But then, again, when we're going to get ourselves into a loop where nothing really then exists, because there's no process of hashkafa, there's no process of Hashem assessing the situation, because it's part of his essence. His essence doesn't change. Again, but in our world, in our observation of the world, we understand that from our perspective, when something happens, okay, so when Johnny does an Aveira, we understand that Hashem knows that Johnny does an Aveira, but there has to be a process of assessing. Okay, now now Hashem is going to assess how to deal with Johnny who did the Aveira, and that process of assessment we're going to call hashkafa. Okay, so again, so amnam nikra shu mashkif al advarim. So what we call that Hashem is looking over things. Mashu don oisom is his judging of those things. V'goizer leim gzeres, and then he decrees upon them gzeres decrees. Mugbolos begvul azman. Now those decrees are going to be then bound by the boundary of time, right? Because once Hashem decides, okay, Johnny has to be punished, well, he has to decide, well, when is he going to be punished? On Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, this year, next year,
No kind of
right? Right, exactly. So those that is going to be begvul azman, sheyirtze hechot shom bohem, that Hashem decided should be, I don't know how I should say it, but he made new for them. And basically that he picked for them. That's what it means. It means that Hashem will pick up a particular time for those decrees. And we will further speak about this in the future. Okay. That's hashkafa. Next. Now we're going to move on to hashpa'ah. So now that Hashem, this was the input, right? Hashem assessed the situation. Now what's going to be on the output? However, his influence is what Hashem executes his will into actuality, right? Hashem now executes his will and brings it to reality. That is what we call hashpa'ah. And this will be accomplished in the order and the leveling that he desired. So there are two things. I'm not so sure what they are. They're clear. There's an order and then there's a leveling. Do you understand what he's hinting to? I'm not sure what he's hinting to, but let's just read till the end of this chapter, because it's kind of, I don't know, the wording is very difficult. Okay, now it happens to be, since we know that Hashem organized the creation and all the creatures in it in certain specific leveling and a certain specific progression. Because he had desired this order. And I think over here he's referring to, there's these transcendentals, there are angels, there are physical beings, there are human beings, right? There's a there's a hierarchy of creations, right? And Hashem created a certain chain of being, right? That's what it's called. So Hashem wanted some kind of an order. And just like Hashem chose to create such a progression when He created creations, similarly, Hashem desires this aspect when He is guiding their continuous affairs and their actions. In all of their aspects. And in the same order, He sustains them in all of their related concepts. And He influences them whatever He wants regarding their matters and the matters relating to them. Okay, so if you got lost yet, let's see. He's going to summarize it. In other words, Hashem chooses, certain decree. He will influence it to a malach, to an angel. And the angel to the angel shetachtov, that's below him. B'madrega, on a level. And from a level to another level. Until the last angel, Yipol Begashmis, will now will affect the physical reality. Lekayim Dover, either to maintain a thing, or to renew a thing, in accordance to whatever Hashem decreed, Hashem's will decreed. Right? So was that confusing? So basically what he's saying is, that so after the assessing the situation, Hashem chose now to act on the situation, to bring it into existence. There is a process. It's not like God says, okay, I think Johnny needs to be punished. Okay, I want him. I'm just gonna hit him over the head with my hand, whatever that's it. I don't know what that means, right? There is some progression, meaning Johnny's gonna walk and he's gonna trip and he's gonna fall and he's gonna break his hand, right? So there's a progression. How is that going to happen? So first, there has to be some kind of probably transcendental force that has to be activated. That transcendental force is going to activate the malach, and the malach to and the whole progression until somebody drops a banana peel, and then somebody right? But that's going to take But there's a progression of events, not events of. I don't know how to say it, right?
Steps.
Right. Okay, let's see a little more. V'amnam kiyum kol hoive. Now keep in mind, he's saying, that's what I think he's saying, that kiyum kol hoive, the sustenance of everything, b'chol madrega shehi, whatever level it is on, you have to keep in mind, even the holiest angel and the lowest, physical critter, right? Eina elamimenu yisbarach. So the sustenance of that thing comes directly from Hashem. Okay? Meaning, what does that mean? What does it mean, sustenance? I think what he's saying is that the world is brought, like we learned in Nefesh HaChaim, the world is brought into existence every second. Right? So, and that comes directly from Hashem. So technically, if Hashem wanted to punish Johnny, all Hashem has to do is hold back some of the living juice, so to speak, that he's, sustaining Johnny with, and Johnny will just wither away. And you don't need the whole system of, him falling and bananas and none of that is necessary. Because Hashem can punish him directly, so to speak, from just put a plug on the life juice, and now he's kind of half alive, and he's you know what I'm saying? Because all sustenance, because Hashem's constantly pumping life into this creation, because it can't exist. So Hashem constantly is recreating, constantly brings it into being. Right, so I think that's what he's saying. He's saying, the existence of everything, whatever level it's on, is directly Mimenu Yisbarach Shmoi. Kihu Yisbarach Shmoi Mekayim Bekoichoi Hanivroyim, because he is the one who kind of sustains, maintains all of the creations, Vihishtal Shalusam, in the entire progression. Kol Efchat Kifi Inyanoi, each one according to his matter, his idea. Aval Haitzois HaPu'ulois, but the execution of various actions, Legashmius, into the physical world, those take place according to the progression of creations that we have mentioned. So that's going to be done through the whole step-by-step process, right? So instead of Hashem kind of internally pulling the plug on Johnny, there's just going to be a progression of malachim and events, and then something physical is going to happen to Johnny. Okay, good. So that's what he's saying. So that when it comes to this output, there is a whole system of how this output will be executed. Okay. Let's see, Dalet. V'hinei som ha'odom baruch hu b'teva kol pakid. Now Hashem created in nature all sorts of pakidim. Okay, so pakid is let's see, I don't know how to say it, the appointed one. The word lifkoid means to appoint. So basically he's saying is that for everything that exists in nature, there is a malach, there is an angel, and we call that malach the pakid. He's the one who is appointed over this particular thing. La'amad al mishmartoi, so he's obligated to stand watch, ulekayim bigvura mashnimser biyodoi, and to fulfill with force whatever was given over into his hand, whatever his given authority to him. Okay? And he is not pushed away from his watch, from his position, only in a way that's specifically organized or set up by the master. Derech Moshe, let's give an example. Sar ha'ilonis, let's say Hashem, Hashem decided, okay, I'm going to create trees, okay? Now, somebody has to watch over trees in the world, right? So I'm going to create this Sar, this angel. He's going to be the angel of trees. Okay, so his job is to make sure that trees are growing in the Amazon forest, and and they have what they need, and whatever. Okay, so that's his job. So Yishtadel v'yisamitz lehachzik ilonis. His job is to put an effort and take care of trees. V'ulom beyosak zeira milofonim v'zbarach b'shmoy. But let's say Kodesh Baruch Hu created there was some kind of a gzeira that Hashem decreed that something should happen to the trees. How's that going to work out? Yichazek sar haruach is going to strengthen, give more power, give more authority to the angel of wind, of winds. Sar haruach es haruach. So he is going to allow him to strengthen the wind power. Kafi mashiyigzar lov, in accordance to whatever authority was given to him. V'yidoch es sar ha'ilonis kafizeh, and that will push away that the power given to the Sar HaRuach will overpower the power given to the Sar Ha'ilonis. Right? So the power given to the Pakid, the angel over wind, will overpower the power given to the angel over trees. And as such, some trees will be uprooted with the force of the wind. And so in these matters there is a lot of layering, a lot of leveling. And of course many details. Because there are angels that are appointed over the physical nature. That they're responsible for all aspects of of the physical world and its physical laws, natural laws. But on top of them are angels that are value-based angels, let's call them, meaning they are talking about they are gmul. Gmul means reward. That they are responsible regarding the Hashem's judgments for reward and punishment. So the reward and punishment angels are going to be a layer above the angels that are dealing with the physical laws of nature. Okay. So Hamaniyim Malachei Teva, and they will hold back the angels of nature. L'sabev ha'inyonim, in order to bring about various things, Lefi Agzeris, in accordance with the decree that Hashem made, that in order to get Johnny punished. So if Johnny needs to have a tree fall on top of him, so the Sarei Hagmul, the angels involved with reward and punishment, will overpower and decide that the Sar HaRuach will have to be stronger today than the Sar HaIlonis. Okay, I mean, obviously these are all just parables. That's not exactly how it works. I'm not saying that there is even a Sar HaIlonis. I don't know if there is a Sar HaIlonis. I have no idea who, there's so many other factors, but it's an example. It's an illustration. Again, there are many details to details. Kefini Floy, Sisra, and Hagoses Baruch Shmoy, in accordance to the wonder of his, unfathomable hidden ways. Okay, so that gives us what does he want? So what's the point of us understanding this? Do we need to know this? Okay, let's get back to the one we will put it together in the end. All right, but again, this paragraph reinforces the previous paragraph, that there's a system in place, that it's not just like
random.
Right. There's an interesting mechanics. There's a whole mechanics that are involved in this whole system. It's not okay. Hey. The ulam who is Baruch Shmai Mashkif Halakol. HaKadosh Baruch Hu looks over everything. So again, we're back to Mashkif. Interesting. El Yonim Betachtoinim. He looks over the creations that are above, what he calls above, Betachtoinim, and the ones below, Shroshim V'Anofim, roots and branches. Umechavin Tomid El Shleimus HaKlali, and you have to realize that besides the individual hashgacha to punish Johnny for what he did, there is the general hashgacha, which is to create the hashleimus haklali, the general perfection, the communal perfection, the world perfection, right? So what he's saying now over here is that this whole process is really governed first and foremost by the general perfection. Okay? This whole process is governed by klali, by the general perfection. Okay? And this is the thing, this is the crux, the fulcrum upon which the entire bria is turning, the general perfection. And then it's divided into details. Whether these are going to be pushed aside, or these are going to be brought close, these will be purified, or these will be left alone to rest. Everybody in accordance to what he deserves on an individual level, but to in such a manner that the general perfection is advanced. So I don't know exactly how this plays out. I don't fully understand how this works out. But there's the general perfection, individual perfection are so many. He spoke about, right? We had two different chapters: the idea of the community of the perfected ones, and the hashgacha that is involved in creating the community of the perfected ones, and the laws that are involved in creating. In governing my individual reward and punishment, and my situation in the world, and my station in this world, and whatever, all the aspects that were involved. So there are very different things. How they work together, I'm not sure, because I could certainly see situations where one can be in contradiction with the other. What is good for my punishment? Let's say Hashem let's say I deserve punishment. Let's say, I don't know, I did something bad. Hashem says, okay, you deserve to be punished. Okay, but if I get punished, there is I don't know how to say it, but meaning, I don't know. Let's say you see a poor person. Let's not talk about me. Let's say you have a poor person. Mm-hmm. He's a righteous person. He has this one goat. Gives him milk or whatever he gets from this goat, right? And he's a righteous person, but he did one sin. Poor guy. He wasn't, I don't know, whatever he did. Hashem killed his last goat. Now everybody's looking in the town. It's like, wow, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. This tzaddik, poor guy lived such a pure lifestyle, and now he lost even this goat. Forget about it. And then 10 people go out, and then they sin as a result because they lost faith. Right? So here, the individual needs of Yankel, right, kind of contribute, right, contributed negatively to the global needs, right? On the other hand, if you don't take away, Yankel's last goat, so then he's left out of whatever, the punishment was for his own good, to give him more Olam Haba, he's left out of the picture. So I'm not sure exactly how you could reconcile that. On one hand, he's saying that the main driver of the mechanics here is the global good, and then is the individual good. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Vav 6. Now he's putting in a new aspect to the mechanics, is that occasionally Hashem's Hashgacha may decide to suspend the order of Bereshis, the order of nature, right? Meaning, basically, he's bringing miracles into this thing, right? So, and this he could do at any time that he desires. He does miracles when he flies and he wonders in accordance to his will, b'dvarim shainim, in various matters, as he decreed being necessarily for the purpose of the entire creation, according to the time and circumstances. Right? So what does he want over here? Just to tell us that miracles exist? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he wants over here exactly. I mean, obviously, partially it's just to tell us the miracles exist. That in the mechanics of Hashem guiding the world, sometimes he functions according to what he says, malach to malach to malach, to a physical world within the laws of nature, because those are made through malachim. And sometimes he suspends the laws of nature. But over here, he doesn't seem to emphasize the idea. I would have said, if you would have asked me, the miracles also happened through the same process as before. It's not a different process. It's also, I would say, it's malach to malach to malach to malach, but this malach says, instead of, hey, I'm going to make the wind
blow in your direction,
blow the tree out of the ground, I'm just going to make the tree randomly pop out of the ground and just out of nowhere, right? If I for whatever reason, he doesn't tell us what the reason is, but let's say HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for some reason, feels that sometimes he needs to do extra natural events, right? Mm-hmm. So, but shouldn't they function under the same system? But here he seems to imply that it's that intervention in nature is more direct. It's godly direct intervention, That's what it seems to me. I'm not making it up, but it seems that he's stressing this point. In accordance to his will, he chooses to change the ways of Bereshis. And then he keeps stressing this, again, his will, and he decrees. So it seems like miracles still have an aspect of direct intervention in earthly affairs. So maybe perhaps that's the whole idea of miracles, is because really, well, like we say, all nature is miracle, right? This that Hashem runs the world, whether it happens through angel to angel to angel to the physical reality, that's also a miracle, right? That's also a miracle. So why are we so fascinated by miracles as opposed to regular nature? So I think he's saying not just what I think he's saying, not more than just, hey, we're used to this miracle, but we're not used to this miracle. He's saying no. He's saying a miracle is, the nature of a miracle is that it's Hashem's more direct intervention in world affairs. He suspends the whole chain of events of Malach to Malach to Malach to Malach and intervenes in a more direct fashion. And so then a miracle becomes a greater revelation of God's will and God's nature and God's kind of, expression of His godliness in the world. That's what I think he's saying over here. Okay, now he's going to address another point, just within the idea of miracles. He wants to know, Mahu zeh, so what is this? That our sages said, Tanoyim hitna kodesh baruch hu im kol ma'aseh bereshis. Right, that all the miracles that the sages Gemara say that they were conditions, right? That Tanai, a condition that Hashem made upon creation. In the beginning, when He created the world, when Jews are going to come to the sea, the sea is going to split. It's a condition that He made when He created the sea. It's built in. So is it built in or is it constant? According, like He just told us that it's anytime Hashem wants to suspend the laws of nature, He just does it according to His will. Or is it no? It's really, they're preset moments, preset conditions when these miracles will occur, right? So he's saying no, it's not loy shelo yishana HaKadosh Baruch Hu dover mi'atam. It doesn't mean that HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot or does not change natural laws besides the ones He already built into existence. Certainly He changes these laws b'chol eis, anytime that He desires. Shinui gomer, complete changing. Aval ha'inyan hu, so what does it mean? That He made a condition, should be eis abriya, that at the time of creation, hara v'hoidiyah, that He showed and He made it known, l'kol shorshe hanevroim, to all the roots of existence, in yonam, their essence, v'amitas mitziyusam, and the true kind of essence of their existence, v'atachlis l'mashe nivru, and the purpose for which they were created, v'elma asidim hoyu l'spoif bigalgulehem, and to what end they're kind of being moved towards, right? Umayiyah soifin yom, and what's going to be in that end? V'yisigu, and they understood, v'yodu, and they knew, she'hakol hoyohoylich l'tachlis ha'teva amiti, that everything in the universe is moving, is revolving towards ultimate perfection, ultimate good. And they all acquiesced, and they all agreed, and they happily accepted this mission. This is what our sages say in another place, kol maseh bereshis l'daitam nivru, that all creations were created to their knowledge. Right? What does it mean to their knowledge? Again, so what he's saying is very interesting, a whole different interpretation of this chazal is that the purpose of creation is built into creations. It's not that just God is kind of guiding the chess pieces along. The chess pieces are designed to move the world towards its perfection and completion. So therefore, once HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it known to them the purpose of these things, v'chukum, and their laws, ve'amitas kol gilgulam, and the true nature of all of their revolutions, herem k'moy kein. So then he showed to them also that what's going to be needed for their perfection, that he will occasionally use them for the purpose of miracles, Yisroel, for the Jews, or various other righteous people, in various times. Right? So what he's saying is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a Tanai, a condition during the creation, that it's built into the nature, the laws of nature of all the creations, that sometimes those laws of natures can be suspended. Why would they be suspended? If it helps the ultimate goal of creation. So the suspension of nature is built into nature, right? There's a back door, there's an exit, right? There will be a good parable to this. I don't know, but I'm sure some kind of a escape mechanism, or that. Okay, I don't know, whatever. But I'm sure you can come up with your own example. Okay, last paragraph. However, this matter they were speaking of. We're talking about the lofty roots, the highest roots, right? That's what he called before in this chapter. What do you call them? He called them Shroshei HaNivroim, the roots of creation, right? These are Shroshim. Here he calls them Shroshim HaElyonim, the highest roots of creation. V'acharei kein al pi kol zeh nishtalshelu b'hishtalshelu. So from the original roots of creation, okay, let's call them by their Kabbalistic name, let's call them spheres, right? So from the original spheres, there's a whole progression, a linkage, a chain of creations. And then from there, all the way to the physical reality. And then these pekidim, angels, were appointed to maintain the order of things. And whenever HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants, Yigzar ala pekidim ha'ele, he will decree upon these pekidim, v'yamdu mitafkidam, and they will stand back from their regular appointments, v'yishtanu mimahal chamativ, and they will change from their general practice, natural practice. In accordance to whatever upon them will be the decree. So it's therefore possible and that this decree will kind of go through them in many ways. Pirush, explanation. Sometimes it will be just as a decree of a king, or sometimes it's as if an angry ruler. Just like the pasuk says, and he was angry at the sea, and it split, it destroyed, it became dry land. Okay, I'm not sure what this parable is it's harder for me to understand what he wants. It probably has something to do again with midas adin and midas harachamim, meaning sometimes the miracles occur, they're sourced in midas adin, and sometimes the miracles are sourced in midas harachamim. So that will depend on how the execution of this decree is going to come about. All right, so these pekidim are going to be suspended in a kind way, or suspended in a very specific overriding way, right? Or meaning, okay, I'm not sure what exactly he wants. Okay, so that's the end of this chapter called Oifen Hashgacha, the mechanics of Hashgacha. So what do we learn in this chapter? So he said that the whole system is designed in a system of input and output. That in every action of man first is assessed, right, using this concept called Hashkafa, right, Hashem observation, assessment of the situation and judging it. And then based on the judgment, which is done using the Mishpatim, which we learned in the previous chapter, there is an execution, which is called Hashpa'ah. But this execution is not direct, even though the sustenance, the kiyum, the maintenance of each individual existence is direct, but the execution of the Hashgacha is indirect. It happens through the chain of being, the chain of events that Hashem created in the world. But sometimes that chain of being can be suspended in order to bring about the desired end. And that's done through the direct intervention of Hashem, through the miracles, whether from Midas Hadin or whether Midas Harachamim. And what else? Okay. Fine. Okay, good. That's it. So that opens up. This is going to be important for us down the road when he's going to talk about, meaning the whole of, in general, of how we interact with the world, right? Once we have a direct connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? And sometimes we want Hashem to do things to help a certain situation, right? So sometimes that will result in direct intervention. Sometimes we have the ability, even within the kosher circles of influence, of forcing an angel to do something in a certain way. That's what he's going to talk about, a whole section of whatever it is, Kabbalistic magic, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, right? Meaning where we could influence, once we know that there's such a system exists of mechanics, right, and of how it works, we can figure out how to play it, right? How to use it and stuff like that. Just like we have certain laws of nature, and we try to adjust those to our needs, right? So too, there are certain laws of spiritual nature, and we can adjust those to our needs as well. Okay.